You have the idea for the business. You know the services, the name, the domain, and even your email address. You've bought a class or two that's helped you map out the perfect plan that is going to make your business profitable in just a few short months. But sis, that's it. You haven't posted online, you haven't told anyone outside of your inner circle what you're working on, and you definitely haven't launched the business to the public. And now you're sitting here feeling stuck, wondering why is that the vision God gave you isn't moving forward. Let me tell you something. That business idea wasn't a mistake, but procrastination will absolutely keep it in the grave if you don't take the time, energy, and effort to step out. So let's talk about the top 3 things holding you back and how to finally shake off that procrastination and get to work. First and foremost, let me be clear. I am not judging you for your procrastination. I myself can be very guilty of it when I let all of the productivity systems I've built over the years fall by the wayside. As a neurodivergent ADHD girly, I can totally understand how tempting it can be to put off working on your business when those good old TikTok and Instagram reels are so much more entertaining. The problem is that our delayed obedience in building that business is actually an act of disobedience. Let me say that again for my ladies that are multitasking right now. Our delayed obedience in our business is an act of disobedience. I know, it's a proverbial slap in the face, but let me tell you, the Lord slapped me with this truth a long time ago, well before I recorded this video, so hey, we're in the boat together. But the real question is, why in the world are we procrastinating? Those rules are fun, sure, but they're not that fun that we would just keep ignoring God to watch them, right? No, they're not. There are actually 3 insanely common reasons why we procrastinate, and we're going to talk about them here. So the first reason that you are stuck in procrastination station is because you're afraid that you're going to fail if you try. Ooh, that one stung. For too many of us, we have become convinced that this massive vision that God has given us makes sense for other people because they're more qualified. They're better than we are. They have more years of experience under their belt. Or on another day, we flip the script and we talk about how the market's too saturated, how we started too late to catch up to the big names, or that no one is actually going to buy in this economy. But that's all your brain making excuses to avoid trying in the first place so you don't have to deal with the risk of failing. Now here's the truth. A fear of failure on a vision that God gave you is merely a failure to trust God's promises. Honey, I'm preaching better than you're saying amen. In Isaiah 55:11, God said, "So shall my word that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. It shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." What does that mean? That means if God said it, it's going to happen. Period. There are no ifs, no ands, no buts, no maybes, no possibilities. No, he said it, therefore it shall be done. Which means the only one standing in the way of a beautiful, profitable business that God gave you is you. But wait, there's more. The second reason that you are probably procrastinating is a reason that I sometimes struggle with, okay? It's perfectionism. You know what I'm talking about. All of the endless planning because one flaw in the plan is going to make the business crash and burn epically, and how embarrassing would that be? Or constantly revising the social media graphic because putting the drop shadow too far to the left is going to scare away your clients. I know it sounds crazy when I say it out loud, but that's how we are. And I get it because I'm kind of calling myself out right now. Well, here's what I learned. I learned that perfectionism is often a trauma response. Oh yeah. There's a lot of doctors I can quote here, but I like how Dr. Jennifer Aniston said it. She says, "Perfectionism can be a form of protection if we have experienced trauma, emotional pain, or rejection in the past. Perfectionism is our attempt to outwork and outsmart ever feeling that way again." Whoo child, talk about calling out myself. I already know that this is just my control issues coming to the surface. As I sat here and researched this, I realized that ultimately what we're doing when we try to be perfect is that we are trying to control every single significant detail, because if we can control all the details, all the variables, and do it just right, then that means we can avoid the negative emotions we experienced in the past when some stuff was out of our control and we had to deal with the emotional impacts of the things that we couldn't control. Baby, I know what you're doing. It's control issues coming to life. But hey, again, I'm calling myself out. I'm not judging you, baby. We trying to control this thing together. The problem is our attempts to be perfect never are successful because there is no way that we can be perfect. There are so many things that can go wrong that you're inevitably going to miss something. But most importantly, this also makes me think of Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 4. There, King Solomon says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." What am I getting from this? I get that life is moving forward. The days are passing us by and we aren't reaping a harvest from the businesses that we were called to create because our unreasonable expectations that we have the ability to be perfect won't allow us to take the actions we need to plant, to sow. This means we're going to have to start taking action, even when that action is imperfect. And as someone who has read many a best-selling novel with misspelled words and typographical errors, I can assure you that imperfect action can have some amazing outcomes if we trust that God is going to do what he said with the business. So baby, stop trying to be perfect and just go do it anyway. The final reason I want to highlight that has you stuck is the belief that you are unworthy. That one stings because I have battled that one real hard, especially in 2024. Now, this one goes deeper than the fear of failure because it's often a reflection of how we view ourselves. Somewhere in our hearts, we allowed the world, we allowed the enemy, we allowed someone who wanted to destroy us to convince us that we didn't deserve success or that we weren't good enough to do what it is that God is calling us to do. And I'm saying we because I get it. When I was first told by our leadership team that I was going to be made an elder at my church, can I tell you I literally laughed? But they were serious, dead serious. And when my husband and I started making millions of dollars in our cybersecurity business, we found ourselves giving away massive amounts of money because there was a part of us that we didn't recognize that felt like it wasn't fair, it wasn't right for us to be rich. It's like we didn't deserve the fruit of our labor. But God said something different. God declared that you and I are his workmanship, that we are his masterpiece. God declared that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God said that yes, at one point you were filthy rags, but I loved you so much that I cleaned you up and I made you a co-heir to the kingdom with Jesus Christ. God said we're good. God said we're loved, okay? So if God said those things about us and then promised he was going to give us these things out of his abundant love, who are we to decide that we are not worthy of that blessing? So no, you are not unworthy. You were made for this business and every blessing that comes from it. You do not have to be perfect to earn that blessing. You just have to take action and trust God to do the rest. And no, you will not fail because God has already promised your success. And baby, if God said it, he's gonna do it. Okay. My preacher hat came out a little bit, so we're gonna bring it back because now I gotta get real super practical with you because I can't let you leave without telling you some hacks or tricks that you can use to kick this good old procrastination thing to the curb. And for my neurodivergent ADHD girlies, listen up because yes, this can work for you as well. My first trick is for you to set a deadline that someone else is holding you accountable to. I literally mean give yourself a date, maybe even a time, and then tell someone that date and time who you know is going to say something if you miss the deadline. Research shows that if you have someone holding you accountable to a task, you are 95% more likely to actually complete the task, which is so true for me because I'll admit I might let myself down, but I definitely don't want to hear my assistant's mouth if I missed my deadline. So yeah, baby, I'm getting it done. In fact, I used this particular trick when I wrote my first book. I put the title of the book in my bio, which I knew would be posted online and used to introduce me at a local speaking engagement. And since I didn't want to be a liar in public, I was dead set on getting that book written. So when they announced That Tool Called Money, written by Tiana B. Cluis, it absolutely was there. So yeah, it totally works. My second trick is to reward yourself for your progress. I know that I am not the only one who will scroll on social media for a few hours, but the entire time I'm scrolling, there's this part of me that's not fully enjoying it because I feel really guilty knowing that I have work I should be doing, goals I need to be hitting, and tasks that I literally told myself I was going to accomplish today that I have not even touched. And that is why I like to use my guilt-free social media time as one of my rewards for getting a task done, especially a task that I don't want to do, like responding to all of my DMs on Instagram or scheduling 3, probably imperfect, videos to post on social media. It doesn't have to be crazy, and that reward doesn't have to cost a bunch of money. You can use small rewards like I can have a serving of Skittles, I can get a bowl of ice cream. Whatever it is you choose to do, just set some small rewards for yourself for those moments when you make progress in accomplishing tasks that are designed to help you move your business forward. The last thing I like to do is use what's called the only 5 minutes trick. I use a rendition of this trick all of the time to get me going. The core concept is that you're going to commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. There's no pressure to finish the task. You just have to start and keep on going at it for 5 whole minutes. Once that 5 minutes is up, you have permission to stop if you want to. The thing is, for most of us, getting started is the hard part in the first place. So once we get started and get 5 minutes in, it's easier for us to keep going, so we do. And a way that I like to razzle dazzle this trick is I also might set a number of tasks to do instead of a time. For example, I may need to write 20 social media posts that I can batch for the next few weeks, but I commit to myself that I'm only going to write 3 of them. Well, the next thing you know, I'm 30 minutes in and I've knocked out 10 of those posts instead of just the original 3. This trick also works great for getting your kids to fold their laundry. So tell them that they only have to fold their shirts and next thing you know, the entire basket's gone. So you're welcome. But in all seriousness, I use all 3 of these tricks on a regular basis. But here's the thing, I know that there are so many more out there. So go ahead, help a sister out. How in the world do you stay out of Procrastination Station? What tricks or tactics do you love to use? Go ahead, drop them things in the comments because good friends share. Okay, sis, we have covered some hard truths today. Fear of failure, perfectionism, and feeling unworthy, these are things that have no place in the vision that God has given you for your business. And now you've got the tools. Setting deadlines with someone to hold you accountable, rewarding yourself for making progress, and taking those small 5-minute steps to get you going. So you've got exactly what you need, but here's what I specifically just want you to do real quick. 1, I want you to like the video if it resonated with you today because that's how I know to make more content just like this. And 2, I want you to hit that good old subscribe button so that you don't miss the business strategies, the prayers, and yes, the faith-based encouragements coming your way every single week. And with that, it's time to stop overthinking and start trusting. Yes, God gave you the vision, and I'm here to help you make it happen. So do what God told you to do, and I'll see you next week.